Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to the Chris Clark Podcast Show. So glad you have your listening ears to us once again this week. This week I have my lovely wife with me as a special guest. We going to talk about the inauguration that happened on yesterday. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris making history on yesterday. But before we get started and we get into that, y'all know we got to represent our sponsorships. This week's sponsorship is Chris Clark Comedy. That's right, me, Chris Clark Comedy. Go to chrisclarkcomedy.com. Book me for comedy host. My characters, Pastor Love Offering, the Tide Cop. Go to my website, chrisclarkcomedy.com. Sign up for the newsletter. You won't be disappointed. So, with that being said, need you guys to follow me on all social media, Facebook and Instagram at Chris Clark Comedy. Follow me on Twitter at Comic Chris Clark. All right, so let's bring in my special guest, my beautiful, lovely wife, who was if you listen to the last podcast, her company was the sponsor, Allured by Brittni Clark. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's a makeup artist. She's a skin care technician. And she does it all. She's a great cook. She's other things, but I'm not going to mention it on the podcast. Use your imagination. And she's also my best friend. Aww. So put your hands together for Miss Brittni Clark.
Hey guys.
All right, Brittni, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you. Know it's late. We both witnessed history yesterday as we sat in front of the TV and we watched not only a new era far as the presidency with Mr. JB, that's what I like to call him, Joe Biden, Joseph R. Biden coming in, but what I really want to get down to is the vice president, Miss Kamala Harris, Miss Chucks and Pearls herself, not only for being the first woman of color, African American and also Indian woman. She's the first woman to hold the office of vice presidency of these United States. Just tell the listeners what that means to you.
Wow, there's so many feelings and emotions that took place within me yesterday. I was excited and just in awe myself, but just an indescribable feeling just to see, our daughter, who is 15 years old, and, she's never been very vocal about politics until recently, until this year, and for her to see and be able to witness such a monumental moment as yesterday was pretty amazing. Not only just for her, but for our boys too. It was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. I thought it was an awesome moment. I was smiling ear to ear just to see that. Yeah. Us as black people, as people of color, we've seen this back in 2008 when President Barack Obama was in office. And I know as a black man what that did to me. Our boys was Isaiah wasn't born yet, but CJ was just a couple months old when Barack got elected and sworn into office. But I know for me as a black man what that did to me. I think majority of the world was just happy to see someone different in the White House. And as Obama went through his years of presidency, he was criticized a lot. Even towards the end, he said a lot of people, I know I talked to said, he didn't really do nothing for black people. He didn't do nothing for black people. So with that being said, with Kamala Harris coming in, being a woman of color, being a woman and holding this office, are we holding her to a higher standard than we did with Barack, since we've kind of seen it, but not quite seen it because she's a woman? I mean, are we, what I'm trying to say is, are we past this time around, we past that she's just a woman of color? Are we actually going to hold her accountable for making a change in the United States?
I think so. When Barack was elected and became president, it was just, he is the first black man or the first man of color, to hold the presidency. But with Kamala Harris, it's more than that. It's the first woman. Women have had to fight, very hard to get into male-dominated positions, to prove themselves worthy and capable of doing a lot of things. So, for her, as not only just a woman of color, but just a woman in general, to have this seat in the White House, I don't think we're holding her too high or putting her too high on a pedestal, or to answer your question, I think she's going to have a lot of difficulties because of, people probably going to be looking at her through a microscope now. But I think I think she will definitely be the key to change. I think Barack started it. I think Michelle, even added to it, because, no, she wasn't the president, but she was the first lady. And she did a lot of great things as her position while her husband ran the country. But I think as far as Kamala, she's I think has more pressure on her. And I think because she's so graceful, she's going to be able to deal with it and, prove a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I did my research on Kamala. And I don't think Joe Biden chose her as his running mate just because she's a woman. I feel like he chose her because she was the right person for the job, that she can get things done. But what I'm saying is, are we going to be satisfied with just having a woman? Because I feel like a lot of us voted for Barack just because he was a black man. And I feel like, not saying like this time around we voted for, well, a lot of people, voted for Joe because we wanted Trump out. I think it was more of having Trump out than actually having Joe in. But I know she doesn't have as much responsibility as Joe Biden. There's only so much she can do, being the vice president. But are we just going to be satisfied with just having a woman in there? Or are we going to put pressure on her to make a change?
I don't think we will be satisfied. Only because I say, once you get a little taste of something, you want more of it. And I think as, America begins to evolve into this new era and begins to change and begins to heal, I think we're going to want to see more change, more diversity in the cabinet, more people in the White House and Congress, and more women, more people of color. So I don't think people will be satisfied. I think people are going to want more. I think they're going to want that next woman president. Like everybody when, Barack left office, they wanted Michelle to run. And I think that's going to empower and push more people to the forefront to just want to do more and encourage and empower them, especially women and people of color. So I think us as a nation, will we be satisfied that we just have our first VP who is a woman and who is a woman of color? No, because now we get a taste of what it's like. And I think we're going to want more. We're going to want more diversity. We're going to want that envelope to be pushed.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel for Kamala because she is the first woman. She's kind of like
she's paving the way.
Yeah, she's kind of like the gimme pig, I would say, for lack of better words. The gimme pig that, all right, we have a woman in there, let's see what happens. So, yeah, she definitely will be under a microscope. Hopefully she'll get the help she needs. She'll be able to lean on Joe Biden and I know the other presidents, Barack Obama, Bush, even Clinton and Hillary, extended out a hand, if she needs it. And then, God forbid, if something happens to Joe Biden, she's the next president. Mm-hmm. We know Joe's up in age.
Yeah.
Not saying anything will happen because we know the president has the best care, but we never know. And I think Kamala's like in her mid 50s or something like that. Mm-hmm. So she's 20 years, 20 plus years younger. I think 23 years younger than Joe Biden. You said something about more.
I think we've waited so long for this moment in history.
Yeah.
And
I mean, well, it was a lot. It was a lot. I don't think we had someone as great as Kamala. I mean, Hillary, yes, she was definitely a better candidate than Donald Trump. We can go as far as back as Shirley Chisholm. I wasn't alive then, but I know she was the first woman and woman of color to run for president. Of course, she didn't win, but we know she was a part of the civil rights movement and all that other stuff. I'm not sure were there any women between her and Hillary that actually ran for president or vice president. But I feel like Kamala, like you said earlier, Kamala is going to be the key to the change. And I feel like Hillary really wasn't it. We wanted her in office because we didn't want Donald Trump to win for obvious reasons. But I feel like America got it right this time.
Well, to go back to what you were saying about Shirley Chisholm, there was a lot of women that tried to run for office. The first one was Victoria Woodhull in 1872. Then, it was Hillary Clinton in 2016. Shirley Chisholm in 1972.
Who was 18?
1872 was Victoria Woodhull. She became the first female presidential candidate.
That's something because women weren't allowed to vote till 1920.
So, right.
That's pretty amazing itself.
I don't think, I was talking to CJ yesterday and I, just picking his brain and just asking him, do you know why yesterday was such a monumental and important day? And all he could say was, because Trump isn't president anymore. But I had to break it down to him and explain to him, we have our first woman vice president, and explain to him, a woman years ago, before I was alive, before you were alive or even thought of, we couldn't even think of having this opportunity or even running or let alone even voting to vote to pick our president or vice president. Now we have that, that freedom to vote. And now we have our first vice president is a woman. Yeah. So, to see that there were so many women before Kamala that, fought. And I'm pretty sure there's more than just Victoria Woodhull and Shirley Chisholm that tried and wanted to make a change and fought so hard for us and women's rights. And I don't have, all of the information in front of me, but and to finally see all of their hard work did not go in vain. Our rights are being used. Do you know what I mean? We're executing our rights as women, as citizens of America, and it's really awesome.
So from this experience, do you feel like more women will be in politics?
Yeah, I think it would just empower. I think yesterday was just an empowering moment. I think it just showed a lot of women and a lot of little girls that, you can do it. You can be in a male dominant field and be the boss. You can lead a country. You can, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people out there, more Kamala Harris's, and I think now they're not going to be so afraid to step up to the plate now, because now they see that if she can do it, then they can do it.
Yeah. And for the people that don't really get how amazing this is and how small of a percentage it is to be president or vice president, you got to think back. When was America birthed? 1776, something like that. Between 1776 and now, we've only had 46 presidents and 49 vice presidents. So out of the millions and millions of people that lived in America between the 200 plus years, only 49 people can say that they have been vice president of these United States. Only 46 can ever say they was president of these United States. Not trying to, be a Debbie Downer on anybody's dream of becoming president, but it's very hard. It's very hard to become the president. And this is Joe Biden's third time running. Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't realize that this is his third time running for president. He ran a couple times before, then he came in as, VP with Barack. And now he ran and he won. They said in sports, they said it's very hard. Oh, it's a small percentage to get into sport. Like, it's even smaller to be the president and vice president of the United States. I think it's over 5,000. I was watching, basketball TNT the other day, and Kenny Smith said there's only a little bit over 5,000 people that, played in the NBA ever. And the NBA dates back to, I think the 1800s when it was created. Then you got the early 1900s when, the NBA and the ABA was created. So to say only 5,000 people, was able to play in the NBA is, pretty wild, but it's even crazier to think 200 plus years, only 46 people was ever president and 49 people, was ever, vice president. And, like you said earlier with the history of women, this is amazing. This is amazing. And we know, women, are very capable of running office, of being vice president, being president. When it comes to getting things done, I don't look at gender. I don't look, I need a man right here. I need a man, or I need a woman to do this. Is the best person for the job. Is who can get the job done. And right now, majority of America, seeing that, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is the best people for the job. So I want to talk about too the riot that happened, the riot that happened on the inauguration. J-Lo's voice. J-Lo's voice singing was a riot to me. I know that's your girl, but what you think about J-Lo?
J-Lo
she dressed, what she had on was nice.
Her
outfit was good.
I saw her coming out, I was very proud, because that's like, she's repping, us Puerto Ricans, and I was just like,
that's right.
Yeah, Jenny from the block,
For those of you who don't know, Miss Brittany is half Puerto Rican. So
I was so disappointed.
Yes.
I was so disappointed. I feel like there is a time and a place, and I was pretty disappointed with the whole like let's get loud moment, and yeah, I just
and for you to say that you were disappointed,
yeah, because
really means something. Because let me tell y'all, I know y'all really don't know Brittany like that, but this girl loves her some J-Lo. I get on her sometimes just to get a rouse out of her, and that is her girl. You would think they were best friends. They hung out or hang out. Their family, something. That's how much this girl loves J-Lo. She watches her movies, buy her albums, everything. And for her to say she was disappointed in J-Lo's performance at the inauguration is really saying something.
Yeah, I'm at a loss for words. When I saw that, like my mouth just like dropped. I was like, what the? I don't know. I just feel like representation matters. And, her.
Do you think she was too excited?
I don't know if she was too excited. I don't know if she forgot that she was at the White House and not at one of her concerts. I don't know what was going through.
I think she scared white people.
I don't know what.
Especially when she starts speaking Spanish.
And that's another thing. So J-Lo does not speak Spanish fluently. J-Lo wasn't raised speaking Spanish. So J-Lo, as she got older, she had to learn how to speak Spanish. So like her albums that are in Spanish, if you hear her speaking Spanish, that's she learned how to do that, earlier
for the album,
later on in life. It wasn't like
she grew up.
She grew up speaking Spanish. So
she Jenny from the block.
Yeah, but even when she recited part of the Pledge Allegiance in Spanish, that's what she was saying. Even that, it was just like, yeah, Jay, that's great. That's wonderful. But I don't know. I just kind of felt like,
yeah,
I just was so confused. I was confused at what was going on.
Was
like
the beginning, Jennifer Hudson.
The beginning, like she took
Fantasia.
She took two songs and blended them into one.
Yeah.
And then the whole like, let's get loud. I'm just like, what is happening here, Jay? Like, what are you doing? And I was really embarrassed because I'm just like, please do not tell me she's going to go into the whole song. Like, what is happening? And then, she comes out with I think I kind of understood why she wanted to come out and, do the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish, probably to show, there's more to the country. Our country is diverse. Our country is diverse. We are a melting pot. But at the same time, I was just kind of like, not wondering where she was going with this. Like, where are we going? You were all over the place.
What I did like, and I didn't notice it. I think we was watching Entertainment Tonight that evening, the inauguration. The three singers, they had the red, white, and blue. I didn't notice that as we were watching. Lady Gaga had the red, J-Lo had white, and Garth Brooks had the blue. Garth Brooks came in there with his cowboy hat and his jeans, and
he came as himself.
Yeah, and I actually liked. He did a cappella of Amazing Grace, and I thought he sounded good. And Lady Gaga, I thought she did a good job too. But J-Lo.
Jay, my heart is broken. It really is. It just, like I said, I just feel I feel let down. I feel so disappointed. I think it was because I had so much faith in her. I was just like, yeah, she's going to go out there. She's going to sing her heart out.
Yeah.
And then when she first started singing the first part of the song, I was like, wait a minute. This don't even sound like J-Lo. What is going on here? And then she went into another song, and then the Let's Get Loud, and I'm just like, oh, no, Jay, don't do it. But to touch on Garth Brooks, I feel bad for him because watching the news, I hear he's getting a lot of backlash from a lot of his fans because he even performed at the inauguration. Like one comment was like,
his fans was Trump supporters.
Yeah, obviously. And I guess one like just reading the comments, were just really hurtful. Like I just, and for him to still, even though he knew that, he was probably going to lose fans because of it, he did it anyway because the main goal at hand is unity and uniting the United States of America.
Yeah. That happened when Trump won, Chrisette Michele.
Yeah.
I think she performed at one of the inauguration balls, and black people kind of blackballed her.
Right.
Yeah.
But was she doing it for fame, or was she
doing it for the money?
Exactly. And I think that's what sets her apart from Garth Brooks. I think she
got $250,000.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
she got paid very well. I think I would have sung too.
Yeah, but but the point that I'm trying to make is Garth Brooks made the sacrifice. He's like, if this will bring unity to our country, then I'm willing to sacrifice fans. And sacrifice my fame to show, this is what unity is. And I love the part where he's like, we're all going to sing this part together. He sang it. He had, I saw, Kamala was singing under her mask, and, everybody was singing.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah. Well, you could see her jaw. You know what I mean?
I don't think she know the words.
Yeah.
So what about the young lady Amanda that did the poet? I seen a lot of great feedback on social media about her. One guy posted, she's a reincarnation of Maya Angelou. Mm-hmm. And for her to be so young and get up there and stand with boldness, I thought that was pretty amazing. I thought the poem was pretty amazing. It's a little long, but it was good though. In my opinion, it was very good, but it was a little long. But yeah, just to see her up there, you can get the sense of pride, as she was up there, not just for being excited to be up there, I guess, for, Kamala, being sworn in. So you've seen the proudness of her. And from what I'm hearing, she's a young civil, rights activist too. So, what are your takes on her? I think her name is Amanda Gorman, if I'm believing.
Yeah, Amanda Gorman. Once again, it was just, I think besides Barack Obama, his inauguration, because I remember literally having tears come down my eyes for that one. Just because that was another moment in history. But this inauguration was just so different from the rest. I think it was just like a new day, a fresh breath of air. It was just like, a cloud was just lifted, from, being in a pandemic and being in quarantine and everything else that was going on in our country. And then a couple of weeks ago, Duck Dynasty decided to raid the Capitol. And then to see this
Duck Dynasty. That was hilarious.
This beautiful black girl recite this beautiful poem.
Yeah. But I think was an even happier moment for, I'm going to say us because I think you're going to agree with what I'm about to say. The happiest moment was that Saturday after Election Day. We was in D.C.
for
my
day.
birthday, and that Saturday they announced that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won the election.
Yeah.
And we were literally in the heart of DC. We were maybe 2 blocks from like the White House.
Minutes from the White House.
And I mean, the whole city went crazy.
Yeah.
In celebration. It was a great thing.
Talk about unity then.
Yeah, like, it was a beautiful sight. Horns.
Yeah, it was amazing.
We was in the Starbucks, people screaming. Dude came in there with a sign, Joe Biden.
I remember
everybody just speaking to each other.
I remember telling friends that we were going to DC for the weekend, and we were going.
It was my birthday, y'all.
Yeah, and we were going right, and we knew that when I planned the trip, I didn't realize that I was planning it the day of election. You know, when the results would be in. I didn't realize it. I thought that we would
get the results that day.
We had no, because they still had to count and all of that stuff, and the mail-in ballots and stuff like that. So a lot of friends were just like, Britt, why don't you take Chris here? Why don't you go here? Like one of my friends, Tony, she was like, go to Key West, go here, and people were giving me suggestions, and we're just like, you know what? If things get bad, we're just gonna leave. Like that's it. We're not beat for the foolery.
I was gonna protect you.
Yeah, I know, babe. So yeah, but it was the total opposite. It was actually the best, considering we went, during COVID, during a pandemic. So, a lot of things were closed down. But when we did get there, we saw the city wasn't the city. Like a lot of restaurants were boarded up. Because they were preparing. They were preparing for the results of the election. So to see such a beautiful city, a historical city, just boarded up, and cops were walking up and down the street, patrolling and stuff, and they were friendly themselves. It just was kind of like sad. Like, this is what our world is. This is what we've come to. This is what I have to raise my beautiful brown babies in. And then that morning, that day when the results came in, I remember you were watching TV and I was doing my makeup, getting ready. We were getting ready to leave. And I looked at the TV and it came across the TV and
I
it said,
like, Joe Biden won?
Joe Biden won. And I'm looking at you and you're looking at me and I'm like, are we reading this right? Because even though we wanted so bad for him to win, deep inside me, I just was like, I don't want to get my hopes up. It was kind of like something like it was too good to be true.
We heard the horns and everything through the window. I lifted the window up.
Yes, the music, people
screaming,
were turning their music
high-fiving.
on. It was just the whole block. It was just people were high-fiving.
And they shut down maybe a 5-block radius.
Yeah, but
that
even
night, because people was in the street celebrating.
But we were in DC, and we drove from DC to Maryland, and it's so funny because as our way driving from DC to Maryland, it's about an hour drive. Horns are still going, like people are still blowing horns.
Yeah,
We're at traffic lights and we're stopped, and Chris is looking, to the driver next to us, and, it's the car to the right, the car to the left, and they're looking at us, and then they begin blowing their horns and we're blowing our horns, and it just was an amazing time to be in DC.
Yeah.
To witness.
And if you ever get a chance to go to DC, please go, because while we was there, we did sightsee, and it was a beautiful, beautiful sight, to see all the statues and the monuments. My favorite was Dr. King. His statue. It was a very huge but beautiful and impactful. And I'm glad we went at that time. I know we'll go again. Maybe take the kids. But yeah, it was a great time that we had in DC. So what kind of change are you expecting from the Biden administration? What are you expecting to see within the first year?
I think he has a lot of cleaning up to do.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think he has a lot of cleaning up to do, and I think I had me and you, we've had this conversation about Donald Trump before, and if I'm trying to figure out like the best way to word this,
Keep it PG.
Right. Don't need to be cussing on here. I just feel like, I know a lot of family members, and I have a lot of really good friends that I consider family who voted for him, and to be able to sit down and have an open conversation with them and discuss, like, so why did you vote for him? And I felt so bad because a lot of people kept, if you voted for Trump, you're racist. If you voted, but no, like a lot of these people, to listen to them and listen to their reasoning behind why they voted for him. A lot of them will say, and excuse my French, a lot of them will be like, yeah, he's an asshole. But his policies fit my life. His policies benefit me. And I don't know, like I said, to just be able to, have those discussions, and it just was sad because then there was like a lot of people that were just undercover.
Yeah, I mean,
and their true colors definitely,
but that's the one,
came out. And
that's probably the one of the reasons why I'm glad Trump did win when he did, because
it revealed a lot
of people and the way they truly felt, because, but like you said, some Trump supporters weren't racist, but a lot of them was, and a lot of people we didn't know was racist,
and he lost a lot,
or felt that type of way. We didn't know, because they were hiding it. But when Trump came in office, it revealed a lot of people true colors. And I seen on social media, somebody put, I thank God for Trump being in office because he cut down a lot of my friend lists.
Yeah. I went from 500 friends to down to 400.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow, like that's really, really how you feel.
Yeah. So, your neighbors, family, friends.
Right.
You didn't know, how a lot of people felt
until then.
Until, Trump came out. He gave a lot of people, boldness.
Yeah. I think
to say and do what they please.
For Biden, for his first year, I think he's going to have a lot of cleaning up to do, a lot of proving to people that they picked the right person to lead this country out of this darkness that we were in. I think he's going to have a big job of uniting us again as America. I've always been very proud to be American. My father, he fought for this country. He's a Vietnam vet. So, for me and the American flag and America, it's sentimental to know that, a lot of us are free, and my dad fought for our freedom. And, if you have somebody or a family member, or if you're in the military, then you can sympathize and understand, what I'm trying to articulate. But this was the time that I was really embarrassed to just be like, we are supposed to be the greatest country in the world. Like, people are coming and fleeing their countries to come here. And this is our country. This is what we're doing. This is what we're representing. It was very sad. It was very sad. So yesterday renewed my faith in our country. It renewed our faith and renewed my faith in our government. And I just have to continue to pray and pray for our leaders, that they're going to fix this mess that, was created.
Yeah, I like what Joe Biden said yesterday as he sworn other officials in. He said if he ever see or hear you down in anybody or belittle anybody, he will fire you on the spot. And I thought that was great, because that just shows the leadership, that he's not taking no nonsense of you, belittling anybody or thinking you're bigger and better than anybody. If he see or hear that, then, you're going to lose your job. And I hope that he can kind of trickle that down to the police brutality that's going on. Yeah. it's not stopping. I mean, even with the cameras and everything. So I really hope that, Biden and Harris can crack that down.
I think once
that they can, give a more harsh penalty, to the police that does, unwarranted harm to innocent people. That's what it boiled down to, shooting people in the back, knees on the neck, choking out people, shooting people in their home, busting in the wrong apartments. The list goes on, while jogging, while coming home with Skittles and, an iced tea. It has to stop. So I'm really hoping that this administration can crack down on that. I mean, I know police have, it very hard. I know it's a very difficult job. I have, police officer friends who are very good people. So I definitely know that all police aren't bad people, but there are bad apples, and those bad apples are taking the forefront right now, and they need to be stopped. And the good cops, if you truly are a good cop, you need to stop it. You need to say something. You need to do something. Because, it can't continue. Even with video, they're getting off, paid administrative leave. So, I'm praying that, the Biden-Harris administration can, do something about that. Any thoughts?
I think that with the harsher consequences, that also might help, like you were saying, better training. I just don't understand, I could never understand how, I feel like I just didn't understand why their first instinct is shoot to kill. You know what I mean? It's like, shoot him in the ankle, shoot him in the hand, shoot him in the kneecap.
And and then they're shooting a lot of them in their back.
Yeah, don't shoot in a vital organ. I understand that your life is you feel threatened, and you feel that your life is threatened. And I understand a lot of these police officers, they're just like us. They got families, they got wives, they got babies at home. So
But my thing, and I told you this before, if you're that trigger happy and you're that scared of where you feel for your life, then you need to find a new career.
Yeah.
Because this career is where you really can't make no mistakes.
Right.
One mistake is somebody's life.
And then it's your life.
Yeah, you're shooting them because you thought they had a gun, or you thought you seen a gun, but it really was a brush or a cell phone or a wallet or something. Like you shot them for nothing, you know what I mean? Because something you thought,
and then
and people are getting tired, and then it's majority of the cases is the people of color, because we seen at the riot, out of all them thousands of people, I forget the number, but I know it was thousands. Only I think one person besides the cop, I think one person died that got shot.
The Duck Dynasty riot?
Yeah, yes. The lady, she got shot in her neck and she died. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know a police officer died, but he was on the other side. But as far as the rioters, only one died, and a lot what was going on was a lot of people were saying if that was black people, they all would have been dead. Right. Yes, they would have, because we got killed for far less. Imagine rioting a federal building.
I saw the picture, or I think it was a video of a police officer helping a rioter down the Capitol steps. Like, he literally was holding her hand so she wouldn't fall as she came down the steps after trying to break in to the Capitol. Yeah. And I was just in awe.
But the thing is, they're getting some people. I think we seen on the news 125
are being exposed, and they're
getting exposed or things like that. Teachers. But the thing is, what I wanted to say, the thing is, they were allowed to go home.
Yeah.
They didn't get them on the spot. They were allowed to go home, and do what they had to do, tie loose ends, whatever, and then, now they're going around to get them. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When this whole situation, I've never been a person to voice my opinions on politics. I've never been very boisterous on social media about it. I kind of, didn't want to pick sides. I kind of was like the one like, kumbaya, peace this, peace that. Why can't we all just come together? That was me. But what was my breaking point was George Floyd. And the thing is, my sons are getting older. They're no longer babies. So the older they get, the more they're going to be viewed as a threat. And for me, as a mother who is married to a black man and who has black boys and a black daughter, nobody will understand the amount of fear that goes in my heart, that's in my heart when you leave the house, or when the boys just thinking about them getting older and wanting to just go down the block to a friend's house. If you are not married to a black man or have, children of color, you'll never understand it.
Yeah.
And me trying to explain, and it's crazy because, me trying to explain my fear to a family member who just couldn't understand why I was so enraged and why I was so hurt over what had happened. It was just amazing to see that even though here I am in tears and explaining, why it's hurting so many people of color and why it's hurting me. And that person, it didn't affect them. It didn't bother them. They couldn't see, they couldn't understand. And it's not that they couldn't understand. I just don't think they wanted to understand. Yeah. There's a lot of people that do a lot of talking, but they just don't listen, and they don't listen to hear, they listen to respond, and that's,
I always say if you listen to a person talk long enough, you can figure them out.
Yeah. So, it was just wow, this 2020 was a really year. And I'm glad
it started off bad. There's a lot going on in 1 year. 2021, still a little rough. But we just praying and hoping that it gets better. Praying for the new president, Joe Biden, the new vice president, Miss Kamala Harris. Just kind of praying that things go better. I actually miss church. I haven't been to the house of God in a long time. So 2020, had the virus, and still the virus is out, so that need to go away. But this was a great conversation. So I appreciate you being on the show. So we're gonna wrap this up, but tell the people a little bit about your company, a little about Brittny Clark, and also give out your social media handle.
So my company, my business, my brand is Allure by Brittny Clark. I'm a makeup artist, skincare specialist, eyebrow technician. You can find me on Facebook at Allure by Brittny Clark, or on my Instagram at Allure_by Brittny Clark. You can DM me for appointments, or you can email me at allurebybrittnyclark@yahoo.com. I have a lot of exciting events coming up this weekend. I'm doing a photo shoot that's like fashion makeup, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm just excited to get, back to doing what I love. COVID had put a stop and a pause and kind of slowed things down for me. So I've got a few weddings coming up that I'm very excited about. So if you need a freelance makeup artist, I work for myself. I am my own business hours. I don't work under anybody but me.
Okay.
So
support black businesses.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. She's very good. I'm not saying that because that's my wife. But she's very good. She does special effect makeup as well. She did. If you ever if you came to my last show, stage play, I call the old. She did the special effect makeup on the older to make the actors look older, and also the black eye on one of the actors, which looked phenomenal. So yeah, if you need that special effect, makeup, eyebrow, skincare, hit up Ms. Brittni Clark at Allure by Britt Nicole. And that is our show for today. My name is Chris Clark. Appreciate you all guys listening. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Chris Clark Comedy, on Twitter at Comic Chris Clark. Go to my website, chrisclarkcomedy.com, and sign up for the newsletter. Got some great things coming up. Got some shows as the world slowly opened back up. Your boy getting back out there on the road with comedy. Booked me for a virtual comedy show, in-person comedy show. You book one of my characters, Pastor Love offering the Thai cop, to come to your show. So, with that being said, thank you guys. You guys be safe. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. Peace.
Bye.